It's been 6 months since I quit my corporate software development job to be a whimsical music man, and in this weekly update, I want to share the things I've done over the past 2 weeks that would have been particularly difficult to do while I was working full-time. And at the end of the video, I'll take some time to reflect on how it's going so far, and if I really want to keep doing this. Welcome back to Road to J. Cole feature, let's get into it. So the whole reason I didn't upload one of these last week is because I was out of town, I was in New York, and I got to do some really cool music stuff there on weekdays. So last Wednesday when I was in New York, I met up with a friend and we shot a music video together. It's a song I mentioned in the last episode of this series that I produced myself. It's called Made This After a Panic Attack, aka It'll Be Okay. So it's a very introspective sort of panic attack vibe song. So I wanted a lot of it to feel very grounded in a hotel room and some of it to feel very overwhelming in Times Square. And it's so cool to be able to do that on a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday. I didn't have any meetings to go to. I didn't have any work to do. I just had to make a music video and have fun in New York City. That's the dream. And I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the best things about not having a corporate job holding me down is just having the time on weekdays to collaborate with other artists who are also taking this thing seriously. Prime example of that is this week, Wednesday and Thursday. I had my friends Risk and the Vibe over and we worked on this brand new song for our group Crowdwork. If you haven't checked out the Crowdwork YouTube channel, I haven't pushed it that much yet, so you could still be one of the first 20 people to subscribe if you go over there right now. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, we made a UK drill style song that's just insane. It's so cool. And we had the time to do that on Wednesday and Thursday in the middle of the day, which is awesome. This is a perfect segue into the other stuff I did with Risk and the Vibe this week. They came over 2 other days in a row, Sunday and Monday. Sunday, of course, not a normal work day, so there's nothing too special about having your friends over on a weekend. I understand that. But both of those days in a row, we recorded an episode of our brand new podcast, Friends in Therapy, which is also over on the Crowdwork channel. The first episode is out now. The second episode has been recorded and edited, and we're just trying to figure out what cadence we want to upload them in, so that'll probably go up next week or something. We'll see. But I really love the format of this new podcast. I mean, if y'all have been hanging out on this channel for a while, you've probably seen the Hook podcast, which was our previous endeavor. We did about 8 episodes of that, and it was only recently that we decided to pivot to Friends in Therapy, and it's really fun. Basically, the idea is every episode of the podcast, one of us will come to the other two with a problem or something we want to discuss. We'll sit on this couch right here where I'm sitting right now and just, talk to the other two about it and try to solve the problem. And yeah, it's really nice to just have full creative control over something and just make fun stuff with your friends. That feels like a big purpose in my life, and it's been great. The final thing I want to talk about from these past 2 weeks that I wouldn't have felt great about doing when I was still working in the corporate world is just this morning, I called up my mastering engineer, we got on a Zoom call, and he mastered my next song for me, and it's sounding really good. I'm really excited about it. It's called J.D. Vance Would Hate This Song. I don't know when it'll drop yet. It's pretty much done, but I want to make a music video for it too, so I'm thinking at this point, probably early September, sometime around then. But yeah, being able to do that at 11 a.m. on a Friday and not having to worry about checking Slack on the side is really nice. There's been a lot more I've done in these past 2 weeks too, but those are some things that really stuck out to me as I wouldn't have been able to do these when I was working full time. And so yeah, 6 months into doing this music thing full time, how is it going? I want to get unfiltered, so I think I'm going to talk and try my best to talk in a way that I won't need to edit for the next couple minutes. So let's ramble. Okay, if you couldn't tell, I'm really happy these days. Doing music has been the dream for so many years before I started doing this. And now that I'm actually living that life, it is really a great feeling. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Having the time to spend with friends and collaborate with other artists, I feel is really the crux of what makes it so special to do this full time. Before I was doing it full time, a lot of my friends were also taking music very seriously, doing a lot of stuff on weekdays. Maybe they're working a part-time job and doing music for the rest of their income or whatever. And so I felt a lot of FOMO. A lot of times I would see friends doing stuff on a Wednesday. They're shooting a music video somewhere, or they're just hanging out making a song. And it's well, I gotta work, or maybe I'm on call. Who knows? Whatever it is, there was so much stuff that happened at my software development job at Twitch that made me feel I was really missing out on the whole beautiful, vibrant music scene that exists around me and in the circles I'm in. That said, I had somebody pretty recently ask me a question which struck me as particularly poignant And the question was something along the lines of like, are you stressed about anything? And the answer is still yes. I'm diagnosed with anxiety. Like that's not going away. That's a thing I've got. And it is really interesting and worth pointing out that yes, just because I quit a big source of stress in my life, which was my job, that doesn't mean that all the stress is magically gone. There are a few new stresses that come with doing music full time. As you know, if you've watched this channel, I saved up money for a long time in order to pursue this passion. And so right now I'm okay if this doesn't like pay my rent every month. Like I have money saved up for a little while, but that's not going to be the case forever. And without regular money coming in, it's a little bit scary, It's a little scary to not necessarily know how long I can do this for. I think I've become a little tighter with money, which is something we referenced in the first episode of the podcast that I talked about earlier. I mean, that's what the whole podcast was about. It's how I can't spend money. And so I'm definitely trying to work on that, like not being so stressed about every dollar because, I did save up so I wouldn't be stressed. And I need to get that into my head. It's also admittedly a little scary to be like, who knows how far I'll take this? Like right now, the numbers are going up. I'm really grateful for that. Like I guess we can talk about the stats right now. Since the last episode 2 weeks ago, my Spotify monthly listeners went up from 1,585 to 2,128 as of the time I'm recording this. So we passed 2,000, which is incredible. My hit single, Make It Make Sense, went from 2,040 streams to 3,185 streams, which is also an incredible jump that I'm really happy with. But neither of those numbers sound like full-time rapper numbers. And like it's possible to be a full-time artist without that many streams. Like I'm really focusing on the in-person stuff. So like, if I can get regular shows, I don't really care how many monthly listeners I have or whatever, because like I'm getting paid to perform. And I am getting paid to perform, but just not enough yet. I don't have enough people buying tickets to like cover every expense I'll ever have. And so yeah, it's like a little scary to be like, who knows how far I can take this? A year from now, will I be at the same point? Will I be even lower? Will I be a little bit higher, but still not quite where I want to be? Or will I be Drake? I hope I'm not Drake. I really don't want to be Drake. But yeah, that's something that I'm thinking about more than I used to. It impacts me more than it used to. When I was working full time, it was like nice when the numbers would go up, but it wasn't as existential, I guess, to look at the numbers, because now the numbers are the job. All that stuff said, I'm really like grasping at straws trying to find like negatives about the situation. Like yes, there's still stress in my life. That's not gonna go away permanently. But all in all, I'm way happier than I was when I was working full time. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a common sense amongst people who will be like, oh, just because you make one big change in your life, that doesn't mean all your problems are gonna magically be solved. And yes, that's true. But man, quitting my job, a lot of my problems were magically solved. Like I used to just have like more sadness and like yearning every day where I was like, I don't want to be doing this. I want to be doing something else. And that's gone. That's just gone. It's so fulfilling. It just feels so right in every way. And so, yeah, despite like the minor new stresses that have come up with this major career change and major life change, I would not trade it for anything. This is the best decision I've ever made. So 6 months in, do I intend to keep doing this? Absolutely. I definitely intend to keep doing this for at least the next few years. And then if at some point it becomes evident that I need to pick up another job, I will do that. But I'm really confident. I'm really optimistic that I won't have to. And so if you are confident as well, or maybe if you're not and you kind of want to hate watch and see if he actually does it, like, oh, is he going to have to give up on this in 2029? Like, then you should subscribe, because I mean, I'm an open book. Like, this whole thing, if I fail, if I succeed, it's all here for you. So subscribe, watch the videos, stay tuned, and we shall see where this journey takes me. Before we go, I want to give this week's shout out to an artist named Glue. That's Glew. I almost said Gleu. That's wrong. Glew. Glue is a DMV area rapper as well, who I actually just had a show with on Saturday. I can't remember days anymore. It was on the weekend. There were a lot of people on the show with me, and honestly, they all deserve a shout out. They were all incredible, but this week's shout out in particular is going to Glue, especially his song Money Mouth. It's really cool. It's kind of like some, like the rage rap vibe, that sort of genre. It's really fun. It's just good music, and he's a super talented performer too, so check him out. And yeah, that's about it for this week's episode of Road to J. Cole Feature. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you take the time today to do something you love. Whether you quit your job or not, it's still really important to follow your passions and just make the most out of life. You deserve the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.